What I've got here is a document that is a record of a meeting of the leaders of al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. The meeting took place last year on the 18th of March, and it sets out their plan for the future. I was in Timbuktu and I visited what had been an al-Qaeda training center. They took over the headquarters of a Malian paramilitary unit, the Gendarmerie Nationale, and they used that as a training camp for about 9 months. And in amongst the rubble of the training camp, which had been bombed by the French, there were hundreds of pages that had been scattered everywhere. So myself and my photographer and my translators picked up everything that we could, and we brought it back. And most of it turned out to be jihadist propaganda, educational material, most of which you could actually find online. But in amongst it all was this record of a meeting held by al-Qaeda's leadership. Now, the document is incomplete. We only have the first page, but the first page sets out exactly what this leadership meeting was designed to achieve. What the document shows is that on the 18th of March last year, the leader of al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, Abu Musab Abdul Wadud, gathered together 5 of his key commanders, and essentially they decided that they would take command and control, that's the phrase, of all jihadist activities in the Sahara. Now, the timing is very significant. At this point, a couple of small towns in northern Mali had fallen into the hands of Aqim, al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and its allies. In the next 2 weeks, they were about to capture Gao, Kidal, and Timbuktu, the 3 biggest towns in northern Mali. And what they were clearly deciding is, once we've done this, we are going to be in command of this area. There are various other extremist groups, Ansar Dine is one, the Tuareg insurgents as well, but we are going to be the #1 force. We are going to take command and control over all jihadist activities. That's the phrase the document uses. So it shows that what followed when Aqim did indeed take control of northern Mali was the result of a very consciously decided plan and the result of a very structured and indeed bureaucratic meeting. The document reveals that this was meeting number 33 of the Leadership Council of Aqim, and it records exactly who attended, and it sets out the objective of the meeting. What this shows is that al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb is an incredibly hierarchical, bureaucratic and structured organization. The document sets out the process whereby one commander proposes this idea, the prince, as he calls himself, the overall leader of the group, then endorses it, and then he takes it to his colleagues and then they discuss it. So it's a wonderfully bureaucratic process, perhaps far more so than you would anticipate. They certainly won't be comfortable to have a document of this kind in the public domain or to have their internal deliberations reported on in this way. However, they're such a bureaucratic organization that I suppose it's the risk that you take when you commit these decisions to paper. The risk that you take is that one day someone might actually come across that piece of paper and expose what you've been thinking all along. So I don't know whether they will change their methodology or not.